I'm Patsy McCarthy and I teach psychology. Psychology A-level is a course over 2 years. There are several subtopics to the course. The year 1 content starts with the approaches, that's the different perspectives, the different ways of explaining human behaviour. So there are different approaches to this. We then go on to the other topics, for example attachment, the importance of early attachments in humans. We look at memory, different models of memory to explain why we remember and how we forget. We look at psychopathology, so this is where we examine human behaviour when there are problems, so mental health issues such as depression, OCD and phobias, for example. We look at the different explanations for why we acquire these problems, and then look at the different treatments, so the biological therapies and the psychological therapies, the talking therapies if you like. We look at social influence and how we are influenced by others even if we're not consciously aware of it, sort of this implicit influence that people have over each other and that we in turn have over their behaviour. In year 2 we go on to the year 2 topics. These are the options, the different options that different institutions can choose from a variety of subjects. So here at Lewes we look at relationships, how the formation of relationships, relationship breakdown. Of course relationships are very important to most people's well-being. We also look at schizophrenia, the different explanations of schizophrenia and the different treatments that are available. Again, psychological therapies, family therapies and biological treatments. The final topic we do in year 2 is addiction, and this is looking at the different explanations of addictive behaviour. And of course, alongside this we are looking at biopsychology, and this appears in year 1 and in year 2, as well as the research methods that are used by researchers to empirically test their theories. Of course, psychology is a degree that encompasses everything about life, and so it's a very good choice of A-level. It's a facilitating subject. You need good English skills, good math skills and science knowledge. We're expecting that you have 9 GCSEs at level 4 to 9, but in English and science you will need a minimum of level 5. And this is because psychology is a science. We use research methods. There is a mathematical element to the course. Psychology is a facilitating subject, and it draws on your different skills in English, maths and your knowledge of science and research methods, and it can lead the progression onto higher education. There's a whole arena of different areas that you can use your psychology A-level. If you do the degree in psychology, you can then make further progression from the BSc to forensic psychology, which is very popular now, clinical psychology, educational psychology, occupational psychology. There's a vast amount of different career paths that you can take with psychology. From last year's cohort, I'm aware of some of the year 2 students that have gone on to higher education, and they are looking at doing the psychology at BSc and then going on to do educational psychology, clinical psychology and forensic psychology. But what I like about psychology is it's all about people, and psychologists are constantly refining old research and coming up with new research to explain this constantly changing world. So for example, the latest research is about the pandemic and the effect it's had on people and the changes it's had on people, and That's what I like about psychology, that it doesn't ever stand still. It's a constantly evolving subject with new topics to study all the time. Probably psychopathology is my favourite topic. I think this is because many students really enjoy exploring the different mental health disorders that affect so many people nowadays, from depression, OCD, schizophrenia, which we look at in year 2. I probably enjoy this most teaching it, not only because the students themselves enjoy it, but because it has such good real life application. It's where we can show that this subject really does help people. In the future, I'm hoping that we can resume going on to extracurricular activities. Lectures in London. I have attended lectures in London and taken students with me where they hear some very well-known psychologists, Elizabeth Loftus, who's giving talks on memory. She appears quite frequently in the news. She informs social policy in terms of eyewitness testimony. Philip Zimbardo and his infamous Stanford prison experiments has also been a guest speaker in London. So I'm hopeful that these lectures can resume. Another good trip that I haven't actually been on yet, but started to plan to go during the course of this last academic year, and of course for reasons we know wasn't able to pursue it, and that's a trip to London Zoo. London Zoo run an activity for students, and it ties in very well with the AQA specification for psychology. Psychology works very well alongside sociology, part of the humanities, and biology, because of course there's some crossover when we look at the biological, psychological perspective. To explaining behaviour, when we look at the brain and neurochemistry and how these can influence behaviour. So I would say sociology, biology are quite common subjects that are studied alongside psychology, but because psychology is such an all-rounder, it fits in alongside just about everything, because psychology is about life and people and covers every area of life. But that's just a recommendation, because psychology fits alongside every other subject that we run here at Lewes.